3 of Reddit League. I am Zatomo, and I'm joined as always by Calamity. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty great. Yeah, we have a pretty great matchup for you folks here in Division 1. The Battle of the GGs, so to speak, Calamity. MrBlue GG and KC, or Kevin Croner GG, going up against each other. Very opposite starts of the season so far for these two, Calamity.
Yeah, Kevin had a pretty poor start to the season. Didn't do too well in either Uruguay or Dams of the World. And MrBlue, just as always, he's just, getting good scores every time and not losing.
Yeah, pretty much. 24,910 points averaging between the first 2 weeks. Just missed out by 8 points on a perfect game in the second week.
I would assume so. The other alternative would be
in his first week.
Really?
In the first
Okay.
week, yeah.
Interesting. Oh yeah, I remember what the second week now was. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and Kevin Croner only averaging about 15,792 points for him. Not a single ace, Calamity, is probably the most noteworthy thing about his first two games, apart from his score.
Yeah, it's not too surprising in Uruguay. That can be hard if you didn't practice too much either. And even if you did practice, it can be hard with pinpointing. So that's not too surprising. But in Dams of the World, I mean, they did have a very tough seed, to be fair. But yeah, it is a bit worrying for him.
Yeah, well, let's see if he can turn his luck around against probably the favorite for Division 1 here this season in MrBlue as we jump in. Oh, actually, we gotta take a look at the map first. What am I doing? The map we are in this week is week 3 for Belgium. I'm not going to try to pronounce the author's name, Lequay, or something like that. Average score 21,000, very high for a map that we usually play here in Reddit League. Over 50,000 locations, so while you can probably practice the country, this map isn't going to get any more familiar to you. It's been played just over 400 times with only 10 likes. A very basic map. It's Belgium. Calamity.
Yeah, it certainly is Belgium. Not one of my favorite countries in Geoguessr. You do have quite it's well signed generally. It's just a matter of if the signs are going to be helpful to you. It's got a bit of France syndrome, as I'm going to call it, with signs that point you to very small villages that are relatively close by, but don't really provide you with any useful information. But just by virtue of the country being relatively small, you're usually not too far away from a major road. So if you can find one of those, you usually also find better signs. You've also got the split, of course, between the languages, with northern Belgium speaking Dutch and southern Belgium generally speaking French. So that can also already, decrease your search radius a bit.
Yeah, I think we had Tall and Paula on for the Reddit League show,
Yes.
and he talked about the very distinctive language, but also geographic differences between the country. So those can really help you narrow down your search radius for a small country, which is pretty good. Well, let's see how they do as we jump into round number 1 with these two.
If you hit the right
The play button works. Yeah, I hit it 3 times. And we start off in the suburbs. Ooh, fun in no matter what country you're in, Calamity.
More fun in Belgium, though, because usually the street signs actually tell you where you are. Not always, but in quite a few cities, you have the name of the city / even village a lot of the times on the street signs. But that's
Very
certainly
good
helpful.
sign right there by Kevin.
Yeah. Is MrBlue at a different intersection, or has he just not looked at that sign yet?
I think he's at a different intersection. Felt like they went in slightly different directions at the start. But he already knows the town. Worth noting that while MrBlue is not from Belgium, he is from next door. And I think he said he's traveled here quite often, so
He's traveled
now they're
everywhere
looking at
quite
the same
often.
sign. That is true. Quite the traveler. So they've got the town, they've got the road. At least MrBlue does, and
Yeah.
I think Kevin does as well. Yes, he does.
Yeah.
So thought I saw his pin in the right place, as they will try to pinpoint this exact location. A minute and 20 seconds left to go.
I find it interesting that they're trying to pinpoint this intersection rather than looking for road names or street names and trying to look for them. I mean, I guess they didn't travel too far to get here, so it would help generally. But I still think with St. Truden being relatively small, it should be more than enough to find the name of the street you were on at the start.
I would assume. Retracing their steps, they're almost like mirror images of each other, Calamity. Making the same moves, same adjustments on the map. It doesn't look like there'll be much to separate these two in round one, at least. 40 seconds, and they both seem to know what house they're in front.
Yeah, they've both got enough time to pinpoint here. So
MrBlue will even guess a bit early and ensure his 5K. AC will spend the last 20-odd seconds making sure.
yeah, at this point, if he misses the pinpoint, it's just a case of having made a mistake and not running out of time, I would assume.
Yeah.
Still like a couple meters too far north, but now he's right around the right place.
He'll guess with no time, and he'll be just inside there, 1 meter away, actually. Closer than MrBlue, but an ace for both of them in round one. So, well done, but, plenty of good information for them, Calamity.
Yeah, definitely. I can't remember actually seeing either of them find the name of the city anywhere, but given the distances to other cities and that you are in a relatively big city from the looks of it, it's not too difficult to figure out where you have to be. And yeah, then it's just bit of pinpointing, but not too difficult in this case.
I think MrBlue did see the city name on a sign. He saw that before he saw anything else and kind of narrowed that down seemed to almost know where it was. But I think Kevin did do what you said. He knew a few of the surrounding areas, kind of triangulation, knows exactly he's got to be in this town, and then works his way like that. So they're very different approaches, different information used different ways, but they all roads lead to the 5K, at least in round number one.
Yeah, I actually think it's before you press play. I think it's relatively interesting how MrBlue just didn't really put his marker in the right spot there, because it was relatively clear from the looks of it that they started between two houses on the western side, and MrBlue just put his marker in front, like in sort of in the middle of the house. I mean, obviously it doesn't matter in the end there, but a bit of sloppy pinpointing there.
Yeah, maybe just a bit of, at least he knows he's within the 5K radius, so to speak, and so he's not going to worry about a meter or two here or there.
That's a very dangerous assumption if like 6 meters further off doesn't give you a perfect score.
Yeah, well, we can chalk it up to confidence or a bit of a laziness. Either way, we're going into round number two, all tied up at 5,000 points apiece, and a much more rural location. Let's see if this will give him more of a challenge. There's those small village names. And this appears to be more of the French.
That's definitely Dutch.
Oh. Okay, so I was thinking de is French, but no. That's le.
Yeah, I mean, de is French as well, but not in this case.
Yeah, not like this, at least. And sure enough, again, MrBlue only needs that one small sign to know where he is. And Kevin, not too far off, zooming in the exact same location. He has that city.
I mean, it stands out a bit from a higher zoom level as well.
Yeah. Romfordstraat? Or he moved the map in front of it before I could finish reading.
Yeah, Straat.
Some derivation of that, Strasse, given it's a Germanic language. And he'll be looking for that road. as well as the cross street. Kevin not zoomed in as far, but in the general area. About a minute and a half left to go.
I wonder what Kevin is looking for at this point, because he can see all of the cities / villages that he's got on his sign there. Yeah, now he moves on to the street name.
Yeah, the actual street names. It just seems like he's doing the exact same thing MrBlue is doing, but he's like, 20 seconds or so slower at doing it. He will find that street as well, so he'll, with a minute left, both of them will be definitely hopeful of getting a second ace here.
Yeah, it depends on... I remember I messed up pinpointing there because the road that you spawn next to isn't on the map. You can sort of guess it's still with the houses that are there, but it's just, yeah, it's always annoying if roads aren't where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, MrBlue seems to see the lake through the bushes there, and it's going to put us at that corner, and that, sure enough, is what he needs to do to get that ace in round 2. Now, Kevin going a bit east, trying to ensure his pinpoint will put himself pretty close to that lake as well, more like a pond. Doubt it's that big. And he will let time run out. And it's good enough. Still an ace from him as well. Yeah, nice little trick there from MrBlue, catching that pawn through the bush and using that to pinpoint his location, Calamity.
Yeah, if you see on the map that it's there, then you can use that. Yeah.
Not bad, not bad. Well, going after the first 2 weeks, Kevin Kroner looked like to be struggling, but at least in the first 2 rounds of this one, he seems to be fine. As we get into round number 3, staying right with it against MrBlue, Mr. GG. And another bit of a little suburb. And let's see if they can't find any signs. There we go. There's a city name. Their pet. There's another letter in there I couldn't catch.
I think it's Erpent.
Now this is definitely the French, because I saw rue, which is the street thing for France, right? We're in the French. Is it actually called French, or do they have a dialect name? Do they say French, or?
I think it's French. I mean,
okay.
The area isn't called France.
Well, yeah, I mean.
Yeah. No, it's they're just speaking French. They probably have a dialect there, but I don't know if it has any like official name.
That was the thing I was always a little bit confused on. It was like, yes, it's very French and it's very Dutch, but is it actually Dutch and is it actually French, or is it just very similar?
It is actually.
But okay. Well, that clears it up. And as they navigate Erpent, that's what it is. It's an N. And it looks like MrBlue is able to find it on the map as well after seeing a few signs.
Yeah, I'd assume, just to go back to the previous point, I'd assume they also have their local language, perhaps, but I'd assume everything official is in actual, like, French and Dutch.
Okay, that might have been what I was getting confused on. The actual dialect. Oh, MrBlue will guess there with another ace. And again, Kevin, a little bit slower, but he's got it. Not the most interesting of locations, just reading some signs, finding those signs, dropping the pin.
Yeah.
You know, basic but accurate geoguessing here from both of them.
He's really taking his time to confirm that there, but now he's sure. Yep.
Fair enough. He will get that ace though. So yeah, 3 rounds, 3 out of 3. Staying with it. That's pretty impressive, Calamity.
I mean, so far it hasn't been the most difficult of seeds, but still, got to manage to do it regardless. And so far, he's managing.
Fair enough. As we move on to round number 4, let's see if we can't get anything else to separate them. And it doesn't appear so. Nice little sign right at the beginning. Telephone number. MrBlue did share some phone area codes maps with us when this week started. So I know he has been practicing his area codes. I don't know about Kevin Kroner, but he immediately puts his marker down. Close to Liège, and that sure enough is on a sign, as he will see it as well as MrBlue here.
Yeah, usually if it's on a sign, then you're probably not there, especially when it's got a highway sign next to it.
Yeah, true, but no, it's not bad for a quick pin drop. Knowing you're at least somewhere in the vicinity. N604, as well as some European roads being seen by MrBlue.
Yeah, moving in closer there, checking highway entrance, well, on ramps and off ramps, and it looks like he's found the right location there.
Yeah, MrBlue seems to be able to find all those stores he saw on that billboard at the very beginning. Now, this one is proving, at least right now, being a little bit tougher for Kevin Kroner here.
Yeah, you could see there a bit on MrBlue's screen that there is one of those signs that he's in front of does say Bachon, which is the town that they're in, which Kevin can see clearly on the map just a bit north of him. So if he was aware of that, that would probably help him. There it is. But yeah, he does seem to yeah, there it also is on the sign there, to be fair.
Yeah, again, he's just about 30 seconds or so odd behind MrBlue. But in this case, he's close, but not as close as he has been. Last second adjustments. Oh, come on, see it. Right there. Oh, click. There we go. So
yeah.
MrBlue does get the 5K. 20 seconds. He's got 20 seconds.
Yeah,
there's the stores. Okay. We'll go back to the start. Maybe 45 seconds behind MrBlue on this round, Calamity. A little bit slower. But he does find it in the end, just in the nick of time.
Just not sure. Okay, good. I wasn't sure if he had stayed with his pin there. I think he might have lost a point. But now he's fine.
But I think it will. 5K through round 4. Calamity, are we going to look at a perfect game here from both of the competitors?
It's still early to call, but we could be. The thing is, as once you put together 4 5K rounds, there's always that little bit of added pressure of, could it really happen now in that last round, which can lead you to panic a bit, which is not ideal. But we'll see if they manage to keep their calm and find what they need.
We'll see. Well, it'll definitely take an ace from Kevin here to take the win from MrBlue, if not at least the tie. So I don't think he'll be able to drop many points at all if he wants to win this one. But with how fierce the competition has been, looks like MrBlue is going to have to be at the top of his game as always to even pull out a win again. So.
Yeah, going north here immediately. Sign for Rosalare. Is it Rosalare or Rosalare? I don't remember. I actually listened to how it's pronounced afterwards, but I've forgotten.
Yeah.
And there's another sign for
signs
that even tells you're in Beveren, so it gives you an even more specific location for it. And that's what I kind of alluded to, if the people remember, in my in our show of week 3, I think it was, that the Division 1 seed, that in this specific round, quite a lot of people messed up and didn't find anything, while it was actually like a very easy round generally.
Yeah, that sign right at the beginning.
Yeah, and even now Kevin walked the other way, but even then he still found more than enough information here.
Yeah, he's definitely got it. The E403 as well as some nearby towns and points of interest, but again, those street signs giving him plenty of information to know what town he's in.
Yeah, MrBlue's found the right street in the meantime, and Kevin has Beaver in there on his map, a bit north of him. Not quite. Close, but not quite. There it is. Put your pin
right
there.
There we go.
Now he's only got 1 minute left to pinpoint on this road, which is not easy.
Not easy, but MrBlue is able to do it with a remarkable accuracy, only a meter off, practically on top of the pin.
Yeah, but the thing is, it did take.
He will get a perfect game.
It did take MrBlue about that 1 minute that Kevin has left, so we'll see if he manages to do it. Because he hasn't found the street yet. That's the problem.
Yeah.
If he had the whole minute just to pinpoint on the street, then he'd probably manage to do it. But
he's got the cross street. There's, I believe that is the, yes, that is the street.
He's got 20 seconds left. That
he's not close enough to it yet.
Nope. Yeah, and he definitely doesn't have enough time to do it comfortably. He's also on the wrong street. Now he's on the right one. I was wondering why. It didn't look like the right street.
Just, yeah, being that, minute or so behind was just not enough. Finally caught up to him. He will lose 4 points. Good enough for a draw, though, Calamity. But he'll be kicking himself for dropping that perfect game, for sure.
I'm not actually sure. Let me actually quickly look up if that's enough for being in the top 50%. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, just about.
Yeah, we did see that like Buxa and others were as well getting pretty much a perfect game.
Yep.
So very, very tight across all of Division 1 for that one. So yeah, a bit unfortunate. I think Kevin would have liked to get that perfect game and not only take a draw off of MrBlue, but also earn a bonus point for a perfect game. In this case, MrBlue will get a bonus point for not only the highest non-winning score, but also for a perfect game. Kind of a unique situation to earn both of those bonus points in the same week, Calamity.
Yeah, we've had it quite a few times in the past, but it's not the ordinary.
Yeah, it's not what you want when you score 25k, right? You don't want to have to earn bonus points apart from winning because you didn't lose any points, so it's kind of a bit rough for him there. But yeah, a very rocky start in the first 2 weeks for Kevin, but this week definitely brought his A game for sure. And we hope he can continue that into the rest of the season. And for MrBlue, again, still no room for any competitor to even take any points off of him, really.
I mean, technically, Kevin took points off him, but yeah.
I thought about that the minute I said it, but it was like, he hasn't given him a loss yet. He still keeps his good record going on. So, well, thank you all for watching. If you like these kind of videos, please, and you're in Reddit League, please send us your videos so we can cast them. We do enjoy watching, and I'm learning a lot, trying to get out of Division 4 for myself. So definitely, please send us your videos, and we will see you all next time. Take care.
Bye.